I'm Darren.
I'm Derek. And this is the Double D Podcast. Back again for another review.
Yep.
River City Wrasslin 2. Second time. We were at River City West in Harrison last year for this show. We're here again. It's another yearly show we can add on to the list in Battle on the Border. Great show, and it wasn't actually that hot out.
No, it was actually cloudy. I thought it was going to rain.
It wasn't bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you were at the show and you saw me, I was still sweating up a storm, but I sweat during the winter. So that does not mean it wasn't as hot as it was last year, but the action was hot. You like that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hot in the way that it was good, not hot. I mean, it does, like what I'm saying is that it was good action in the ring. Is what I'm saying.
He likes boys.
I was just saying that the action is good in the ring. That's all I was saying. It wasn't, I realized. Anyway, River City Wrasslin, it was a great show. Quickly becoming a show to look forward to. And I feel like I might be speaking out of turn here, but I think this show is better than the year before. And that's the goal, right?
Most definitely.
Goal is always to get better. I'm assuming that Denim always wants the shows to get better. This show feels like it was better than last year. I mean, just the card alone, was more excited for it this year. It was a great show.
As we always say.
Yeah.
Stack the card.
Stack the card. Hey, Battle on the Border shows never had a bad card.
No,
I will say one thing, though. Fans were great. Thanks for coming out. I will say one thing, though. This ring issue. We'll just bring it up. If you were at the show, this show or the show before it, you noticed that the ring has become an issue. The top rope has been sabotaged. Something's going on. I just want to get it out of the way. It might be the mess, man. I don't know at this point. Something's going on, and it needs to get fixed. Other than that, though, the show was great. So, unfortunately, yes, some of the matches early on maybe weren't as good as they could have been because there was rope issues. I find it funny you didn't yawn once before we started.
I don't always do when we start filming. It's always the worst fucking time. I think it's your voice.
I put people to sleep.
I think it's like that teacher you had in high school where, like, as soon as they start talking, you're like,
that's why I put people to sleep. Well, maybe you should talk more.
That's fair.
Anyway, the ring needs to. That's just want to get it out of the way first. Battle on the Border. Listen, we have high standards for ourselves, and I'm not. Listen, I consider myself a decent friend of Denim's, and I'll be honest. You know, he'll be honest with you too. If you asked him about the ring issue, he'd tell you it's a problem. It's going to get fixed. It will be fixed. Hopefully by the next show, it'll be fixed. If not, we're going to continue to call Denim out until that ring's fixed.
Well, he needs to get it fixed anyways, because I'm pretty sure that's the ring he's going to use for his little thing he's been talking about.
Right, yeah, the training and stuff.
Yeah.
So gotta get fixed. Now, other than that though, with that being said, so when we go to a wrestling show and there's like, you hear like the top rope is not working properly, you think that maybe the matches that follow would be bad, but they weren't.
Nope.
And that speaks to the talent on the show. That was the point I was trying to make, was that even without that, and the fans over there know it because they saw it, ring was not in the greatest of shape at first. It got fixed. It eventually got better. Not, you know, we would point that out. It did get better. However, the wrestling was so good, it didn't even matter.
No. It didn't matter.
So,
they could have took ropes off.
They could have. They could have. And at
they would have bounced off the air.
They would have bounced. Well, I don't know if that would have worked, but maybe. Anyway,
insert noise.
But anyway, I just wanted to point that out because it's a big elephant in the room. If you were at the show, you saw it. So I just wanted to point it out.
Where?
This is a big room.
Where'd that elephant go?
You can't tell because we have a green screen behind us, but we're in a much bigger room.
We're in a new room.
Yeah. It was my bedroom. I converted my bedroom into a podcast room because I love this game. You notice how I went down and I didn't hit the table?
He forced himself to sleep on the couch.
Yeah, I sleep on the couch. That's another podcast for another. That's another story for another podcast. I sleep on the couch now. I'm in my own doghouse.
All right, you can be in the doghouse for yourself.
Let's move on. Let's get this show on the road because people didn't come here to hear us talk about this.
Oh, fair. People here come here to hear me talk all the time.
You think so?
You don't know them.
The show started off with a banger of a match.
Banger!
Banger after banger. This is a great match. The Brigade, the newly formed, well, kind of newly formed, reformed team of Sergeant Ledbetter and Hooks. They were a team before. They're now once again a team.
Until they hate each other again.
Negative Nancy over here. The point is that they are now a team again. And they have been running roughshod over the tag team division. And this time they have the Dungeon. Now the Dungeon, I'm not great at math. But the Brigade is 2 people, Hooks, Sergeant Ledbetter. The Dungeon's 3, Craven, yes. Adam Orgis, and Beast.
But
so
they had to fill a 3rd spot.
They had to find a 3rd spot. Now, the thing is, you kind of just mentioned it before about hating him. Sergeant Ledbetter hasn't made a lot of friends.
Nope.
I would argue that he's probably lost more than he's won.
Oh, yeah.
Lost more friends 100%. Than he has. And I think that Hooks, with being Hooks and hurting, you know.
It's hard not to like Hooks.
Yeah, but he's a hardcore guy, and I think people maybe in the locker room are maybe a little intimidated to be associated with him because they don't want to get hit with a weapon. Not saying Hooks randomly hits.
Well, that's the ones you make your best friends.
True. Keep those kind of people close.
Yeah, well,
my point
is to beat the hell out of somebody.
Is they're not necessarily known for having the most friends, these two.
That's fair.
That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. They have each other, and they had to find a third.
Yes.
So who was going to be the third member? That was going into this show. That was one of the big questions. Who would be the brigade's third member?
I can't remember what our guesses were.
I don't think we had at the time of... I mean, when we were talking about the show, I think we probably had guesses. I don't think we ever made any public.
I had an idea that it was going to be Denim.
Denim? That's kind of what I thought. I kind of thought, well, that makes sense.
Because, I mean, that's how the whole thing formed.
It is.
Because they helped Denim keep the company.
Yeah, exactly. So, I would argue that Denim is like the founding member of the brigade, almost in a way, right?
So, yeah, the fact that he doesn't participate is weird.
It's not weird. He's
and it's a little wild that Derek has the camouflage cup that they made for that.
Yeah, look at that. You can get that at the tables at the show. Nice plug. That was good. It was a great cup. Honestly,
remember,
it's great.
You can get awesome cups, or you can get Rick Toms too.
Yeah, Slabjacks t-shirts. We're doing a plug in the middle of a match.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're doing...
AdSense, man.
Rick Toms,
where you got it.
Slapjacks made this incredible Rick Toms shirt. It's amazing. This is one of my favorite shirts, quickly. Rick Toms is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Slapjacks table
the best
over at the shows.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Moving on. Third member. Who would the third member going to be? We had a lot of thoughts, but we did not expect who it actually was.
No.
The reason is because this person has battled Hook in the past. He's actually beat Hooks once at the Aurora Farmers Fair. Beat him there. I remember that was one of our first times doing like the sound, and I was like shocked. Oh my God, it's crazy. It was King Kong Pete. Remember King Kong Pete?
It's nice seeing King Kong Pete come
We
back.
haven't seen King Kong Pete in like a year.
He may be on the good side, but it's hard not to like King Kong.
I was gonna say the fact that you don't like Sergeant Ledbetter, you used to like Hooks. You don't. And yeah, now you
I don't like King Kong Pete though, man. It's hard not to like him. Although I do have a bone to pick with him. He wasn't wearing a gorilla hat.
He wasn't wearing the gorilla mask. He said it's time to move on from that.
I disagree, King Kong Pete. You're not King Kong Pete without the gorilla head.
Bring the King Kong mask back.
And a banana stick.
He used to throw
what the hell happened to the banana stick?
Guys, you know what? Now I'm starting to not like.
He might as well just be called Pete.
You know what's? That's what you told him. You told him that. You told him that. You said you might as well just be Pete. I had a point to make and I completely forgot. Well, that sucks. Anyway, the point is that this was the third member. So now it's the dungeon versus the brigade and King Kong Pete. Now these 6 men are they hit hard. They're not afraid of each other. It was a great match.
And mind you, you got to think these are 2 hardcore guys with Ledbetter.
That's a good point.
You got 2 hardcore with Ledbetter.
That's a good point.
So you got what, 2 hardcore and a heavyweight?
Yeah, that's a dominant team.
So I mean, that's a
dominant.
You got 2 crazies that don't give a shit, and then.
And Sergeant Ledbetter,
who's a big dude.
I was going to say, he doesn't give a shit in his own way.
So, I mean, they kind of had one up on the dungeon.
The dungeon's big guys.
Yeah,
I mean, Adam Rogers is a big dude. Craven, big dude.
2 nuts.
Beast has hair all over the place. Huh?
You got 2 nuts that don't care.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
I mean,
this was a great...
The size of being nuts is like 2 different... They kind of...
outweigh each other, right? I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good point. This was a great match, as we said here. It was a Harrison Street fight also.
Yeah, it's just we did not expect it to turn. We didn't know.
We did not know it was going to be a Harrison Street fight. So, but you know what? I mean, again, you were talking about a King Kong Pete, Hooks in the match. Of course, they're going to be like, hey, let's make this a street fight.
Well, yeah, now that you got 2 hardcore guys.
That's what we were saying. Yeah, exactly. This was a match that went everywhere. Denim's trailer was close by. Well, guess who got DDT'd?
You know,
King Kong Pete got DDT'd
anytime
onto
that
the trailer.
freaking trailer is nearby, somebody uses it.
Well, you know,
or the Jeep.
Yeah, you got to move the Jeep. Got to move the Jeep. Then King Kong Pete. So Adam Rogers was the one that DDT'd King Kong Pete onto the trailer and then started choking him with the cord. I mean, so listen, we were talking about before about King Kong Pete and Hooks being hardcore.
Yeah.
Adam Rogers has done hardcore before in the past. It's like a...
Has he?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think in Battle on the Border, but he has before in the past. We went to a Cincy wrestling show where he was... took on Madman Pondo.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So he has. So you got 3 rolling in there.
Yeah, exactly. So that like flip switch, and he was like, I know how to deal with these guys.
Yeah, you just got to be as nutty as they are.
Exactly. At one point, the Great American Beast took off his shirt. Now, I said it before just a second ago about Beast having hair all over.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. I mean, his name is. When he took off his shirt, the fans were disgusted. I think I heard some. I heard some Because he had hair all over. I mean, he's a hairy guy. He's a hairy guy.
His back looks like fur.
Yeah, it looks like he has a rug on all over. But
if he didn't wear a shirt, he did disguise his shirt.
But the point is, so all this whole time, and Beast took off his shirt because the Dungeon were getting one over on the group. I mean, there are three guys who have worked together as a team. These two and King Kong Pete have not worked together as a three-man team, so that cohesion was a bit hard to figure out. But guess who was able to turn it around? It was King Kong Pete who was able to turn it around, and just as it started to seem like the Brigade was going to get the victory, or at least start their path to victory, the Dungeon, they up and they ran. They ran away, and it was considered a forfeit by the referees to the Brigade won. So even though it was a street fight and the match could have went anywhere, they ran off. They got in their cars, I assume, and they took off. They didn't want any part of the Brigade. They didn't want any part of King Kong Pete, at least not today, because at one point, all three Brigade members were in the ring. All three Dungeon members were on the outside, and they said, you want us to come in? Not today. So maybe in the future, that'll be a match that we get to see a rematch of.
I'm not understanding why all these bad guys are running.
You know what? I think you're starting to realize that, you know, you went on your little thing about loving the bad guys and stuff, but now you're starting to see what the bad guys are. They're cowards. Listen, I'm not going to tell the Dungeon that to their face.
Now, coward is a pretty strong word.
Well, they ran away. I mean, how else could you describe that?
What else would you do to a guy that likes staples in his head?
Personally, I would run away also.
I sure the fuck would get.
But I'm also not the Dungeon. I don't know. I'm just saying.
They may be big dudes, but one of them gets staples in their head.
That's true.
The other two don't want to do that.
That's true. Well, I mean, and the thing is, with it being a street fight, that could have happened. You know, maybe Kyle Craven was like,
whatever the hell they wanted.
Yeah, maybe Kyle Craven was like, you know what, I don't want to mess up this face. Adam Rogers was like, you know what, I don't want any part of this. I just DDT someone. I did my part. Yeah. Beast took his shirt off. It was great. I mean, listen, they did their part, I guess, in their minds, and they ran away. Tail tucked between their legs. They ran away. I'm not going to say that to their face, but they did. So the Dungeon did get a loss here. What I think. I usually ask after matches, what do you think's next for the people? But I think it's pretty clear. I think
it's going to be a rematch.
Has to be a rematch. Denim does not like it when people run. He doesn't like it when people, you know, tuck tail. He doesn't like that. There will be a time in the future. It may not
force them to go and go and go and go.
It may not be in August in Middletown. It may come down the line. It could be next year at River City Wrasslin 3. But there will be a time where these six really cross paths. Because I'm assuming King Kong Pete will be involved. Now, the bigger question, I think, is if your Hooks and your Sergeant Ledbetter, I mean, like I said, maybe even Denim, do you induct King Kong Pete into the Brigade? Do you bring him back?
Well, I mean, I would say.
I mean, he's a great member to have. Another nut, as you said earlier.
It's true. You know it's true.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. We will see what happens coming up. I mean, we do have a show in August on Slabjacks on August 31st.
And then if he can't do it, Denim can always feel him.
Yeah, well, you know, and that's the good thing to have.
He's scared.
Denim watches these. You know that.
I know.
Last time he showed me.
He ain't said nothing yet.
He sent me a picture of him watching on our TV. We were on the TV.
We're on Denim's TV. Hi, Denim.
All right, so that was the first match. Congratulations to the Brigade. I still think that there is a potential, and we'll talk about tag team wrestling later on down the road here. I think there's a potential that we could see these guys become tag team champions at some point.
I think it's nuts, the tag teams we have going on now.
Tag team division slowly starting to return to that original. When we started in Battle on the Border doing the podcast and the sound, tag team division was at the top of the list almost. And it kind of sunk there for a little bit due to injuries and due to just some nefarious actions by referee Nick Barney changing Matt coming out and saying, no, it doesn't count. But now we're starting to get back onto the right track.
Yeah.
A lot of tag teams coming back.
A lot of tag teams coming back. A lot coming back from injury. I'm still not sure what's going on with the bad dudes. Still haven't seen them for a while.
Well, you'll love that when they come back.
I would like to see them come back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if, when or if or what's going on. But
we'll see.
Last I heard there was an injury, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, I think both bad dude members were injured at one point. So I mean,
shit.
So I mean, hopefully we get the tag team division back. And talking about tag team divisions, great segue because the next match was a tag team match. Yep. It was between Oh So Delicious and DD Trash. Now, DD Trash, earlier today I saw a post from them after the match where they said, and this is kind of spoiling the ending, but they said they had never lost in Battle on the Border. Makes you think.
Yeah.
Now, I did spoil the ending. Usually I like to build up to it. Oh So Delicious did get a loss here.
Yes.
But that's nothing wrong with those. So they're a good team. They're a great team. They gave DD Trash a run for their money. In fact, for a while, Ron Mathis was kind of getting beat down in the ring from Camden Francis and Cake Monster, who are the two members of Oh So Delicious. Yep. So it was in limbo there for a second.
Now, mind you that.
But I'm just saying, DD Trash might be next in line for a tag title.
Remember, they came out with utensils.
They did. I actually have that written down. Cake Monster brought a spoon down,
yeah,
and Camden Francis brought
a whisk.
A whisk. I wrote a spoon. I actually think Cake Monster brought a whisk, and Camden Francis brought a spoon.
No, Camden Francis was carrying the whisk.
Okay, Camden Francis brought
I
the whisk.
remember.
I wrote spoon down for both. You did. That's why I wrote it down fast.
I said, look.
But listen, we'll just go back. I know I kind of said who won, but let's just go back for a second. Obviously, the fans were behind DD Trash. I think
they're always behind DD Trash.
Out of everybody in Battle on the Border, they are probably the fan favorites. Yeah. One of at the top.
They are
top
the
5.
They are the fans' favorite.
It might be like Sergeant Ledbetter and Hooks tied for number 1, maybe, then like DD Trash, and some people we'll talk about later. So the fans were super behind DD Trash, and as they should be. The DD Trash is a great team. My mom loved DD Trash when she went to the first Battle on the Border show in Sunman. So that says something. My mom's not a huge wrestling fan, so the fact that she was like, hey, these guys are great, I mean, that says something. And these guys, fan favorites. And listen, I mean, Cake Monster and Camden Francis, when they come down with whisks and spoons, I think the fans think, hey, maybe these guys aren't taking it. Also, DD Trash coming down to the ring with whisks and spoons, when you're facing DD Trash, is kind of a crazy move.
I don't think DD Trash was facing DD Trash.
No, So Delicious.
When you said DD Trash.
Well, So Delicious coming down to the ring with whisks and spoons.
Yeah.
I mean, that shows no fear. That's kind of a crazy thing in their own right. They weren't worried about it.
No, they're coming down. And, I mean, maybe they're going to use it. Maybe they're thinking to use it as weapons.
Maybe underhanded tactics. I have here that Ron.
Let's start calling that shit above-handed tactics.
No, cheating is not above board.
It's not cheating.
It's under. Okay, Carson. I have here written down.
He was there.
And we'll get to that. I have this written down here that Ron picked up a child at one point. So he did. He picked him up and was holding him.
It seems to be the same child every time.
It is, and because it's a minor. Yeah, it is, and I won't say who because it's a minor. I don't know. I don't know the kid's name.
I don't know the kid's name. I don't even know the parents. But it seems to be the same kid every time.
I do. I not personally, but I do know they're at every single show. They're always
yeah, I knew they were there.
They're big DD Trash fans also.
But like it's every single time he picks up. He picked up another kid too.
Yeah, he's like the opposite of Jeremiah. Jeremiah hates kids. Ron embraces. He
uses them as weapons,
and he did use them as weapons. That's right. That's true.
He uses their asses as weapons.
That's a really good point. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was Ron Mathis who used it against. Yeah, that's right. Also, so DD Trash didn't seem too worried about this match either. They were kind of making jokes at first about, not necessarily about them, but they were just kind of they're lighthearted. You know, they're kind of talking with the fans. They're, making fun of the rope being loose, and they're kind of just loosey-goosey. And like I said, that quickly got shut down because Cake Monster and Camden Francis, they came to play. They might have come down with the whisk and spoons, but they came down here to play. They wanted to win. Tag team division is starting to get stacked. The main event of the night is a tag team match with a random partner of Surge's choosing, if he so can find one. So they're thinking like, hey, this is our chance to potentially move up in the ranks. It's a tag team heavy night. There was a 3-on-3. Now it's us, tag team heavy night. So a win here is huge, especially over DD Trash. That would be a huge win for Camden Francis and Cake.
I would assume pretty.
That might propel them up at the top.
Yeah, I was going to say that would put them up, wouldn't it?
I mean, it would be hard to deny that. True. So, but at some point, the teamwork by Oh So Delicious did catch up to DD Trash. Like I said, maybe they weren't taking it so seriously as they should have. Talking about DD Trash, kind of underestimated is the right way to use it. Ron Mathis at one point jumped over the top rope. The top rope came off at one point. It was a wild match.
The top rope wasn't really hard to jump over. It was down on the ground most of the time.
It's also possible that Bruce Gray was holding it down a lot. But the point is, he jumped over. It was a crazy match. It was a wild. There was a lot of stuff going on. At the end of the day, DD Trash's teamwork over the years. I don't know how long Oh So Delicious has been a team, but DD Trash has been a team for a long time. That teamwork ended up coming back to help them, and they did get the victory. So DD Trash does win. As I started this off with, I think that coming from this, Oh So Delicious can't hold their heads down too much. No. They lost to DD Trash, great team. DD Trash, on the other hand, though, they might be starting to slowly creep up to become a top contender for the tag team division, especially depending on what happens in the main event later on in this show. I mean, right now, as of this moment in the show, it's a 2-on-1. We don't know who, if Sir just found a partner.
Nope.
So in their eyes, they're thinking like, hey, he doesn't have a partner, so that's one less tag team we have to worry about.
Yeah,
and
get him automatically kicked out of it.
Right. So I'm just saying, DD Trash, they're slowly starting to become.
They're creeping.
I mean, they already have been a dominating tag team. They haven't lost in Battle on the Border in forever, according to them earlier, if ever. So,
and not to mention, they're also one of the better ones too. They're one of the better tag teams in the Battle on the Border. They've been, like you said, around for a while. So.
Yeah, and they've been dominant. They've been dominant.
And that's got to give them some type of points.
Absolutely. Absolutely does. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what's next in store for them.
Yeah. Coming up next on the show is Lucy B. Sweet taking on Bashley Bones. Now, these two, the ladies division in Battle on the Border is the strongest it's been, I would, since we've been a part of Battle on the Border for sure. Now, maybe in the past it's been a little stronger, but since we've been in it, there are like 12 women who are fighting for Shauna Reed's title.
Which is nuts.
They're all trying to get there. They all want to get there. The problem is that Shauna Reed is she's going to be tough to dethrone. But as you have a title, as it goes, target's on your back immediately. So now everyone's gunning for it. So Lucy B. Sweet and Bashley Bones are two. Like, last time we saw Lucy B. Sweet, she picked up a loss to Madison Payne. Yeah. Last time we saw Bashley Bones, she was able to defeat Casey Clay. So, I mean, kind of two different, like Lucy B. Sweet's trying to get back on the winning side. Our green screen came down. Gosh dang it.
And we're back.
We're back. We got the green screen up. It's a little darker in here than it was. It took a while. So sorry.
Down a little bit. We're using a little bit of natural light.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out this new air. It's a big room. So sorry if the lighting is a little bit off. Probably should have fixed it before we started, but
That's all right. They can see us.
It's all right. You guys can see us. It's a little darker than normal. I apologize for that.
I'm on the right side.
Hopefully my editor, my sister, can do something with the lighting. Maybe we don't look bad and we look stupid for saying anything. Let's start off, let's get back to it though. We were talking about the women's division. The women's division in BOTB is great. It's on another level right now. Like I said, I can think of 12 or so different women that are in the division, and realistically, any of them at some point could potentially be a champion. They're not just some chumps. These are real wrestlers. They're real good wrestlers, and they're people who could one day be champions. Yeah. And fun fact about this match, you guys have probably seen our interview with Jim Millspaw and Mike Reynolds, who are the commentators for BOTB. If you haven't, go check it out. That was mentioned by both Mike and Jim as their favorite match of the night was this match. So that, again, that's just speaking to, some of you guys watching may not know, maybe you haven't seen Lucy B. Sweet or Bashley Bones. These two are great wrestlers, and they could potentially be a champion at some point.
Oh, most definitely.
So just a little bit of a background. Bashley Bones is a former roller rink star. Lucy B. Sweet is from a candy shop. That's what Rick Tom said. So it makes sense. Be sweet, yeah.
Sweet like candy.
Yeah. So this was a great match, and they couldn't really use the ropes a lot because at this point the ring had not been fixed. So I mean, they could have used like the bottom two, but they're not Rey Mysterio. They can't jump off the bottom of the two ropes. So they did a lot of their movement inside of the ring, and that's what's even more impressive because a lot of people don't really think about the fact that wrestlers, a lot of times, think about how many times you've seen someone use the ropes to their advantage or bounce off the ropes, you know, throw their opponents into the ropes. So the fact that these two were just focusing in the middle of the ring on these two, the crowd was behind it. The fans love Bashley Bones. Bashley Bones is starting to gain some traction. This is, I think, to what I can think of off the top of my head. I could be wrong, could be more, could be less, but I think this is the third time we've seen her now. First two times we've seen her was with Casey Clay. She has won. She lost. Well, she lost first, then she won, and now she has this match against Lucy B. Sweet. This was the second time we've seen Lucy B. Sweet, so fans are starting to get behind Bashley Bones, though. And
starting to be a fan's favorite.
I think they're also learned, there were some people there who learned that Lucy B. Sweet is to be taken seriously in this matchup as well. If you watched it, it was a great match. Like I said, Jim and Mike did both say this was their favorite, one of their favorite matches of the night, if not their favorite. Great action. Again, won't give everything away. Have to be at the show to see it. But the winner is Bashley Bones. Congratulations to Bashley Bones. Hey, Lucy B. Sweet did put up a great fight. It was a back and forth battle between the two ladies. It could have gone either way at any point in time, but Bashley was able to get the victory. I do believe this is her second victory in a row now. Last time we seen her, I think she beat Casey Clay. Now she's got another win here. Maybe she's going to start to creep up in the women's division as well.
Well, yeah. I mean,
And
when you're getting something like that where you got back-to-back wins.
One of the things that I've seen about her, too, is that she's improved. When she first fought Casey, it seemed like Casey got her number on her pretty quick. Then the second time, Russell was involved, and there was a mirror, and there was a lot of stuff going on. This time, though, one-on-one, clean matchup, straight up, just these two. And Bashley was able to get the better Lucy B. Sweet this time. But, hey, if they fought 10 times out of 10 times, I don't know if Bashley Bones wins all 10 times. I think it's a 5-on-5 thing. I think it could have gone either way. So I think, like I said, for Bashley Bones, the next thing is, she's got to be eyeing that championship. They did mention also on the Battle on the Border Facebook page, post-show, they did mention something about possibly teaming up together in the future.
Yeah.
Now
it would be a female tag team.
That's really interesting because as of this moment, I mean, I know in the past, before we've been in Battle on the Border, there's been female tag teams or teams of women, but we haven't really seen that necessarily. So that would be something interesting. That's something to keep an eye on. And that would be interesting. I think that these two could potentially...
Would that open up a co-ed?
Well, I was thinking this. I think it could be something maybe in the future where there's a women's tag team title, or I was thinking also if these two, they kind of know, I mean, Shauna not necessarily, but there are some women in the division who do have friends or teammates or lovers in some cases even. In the case of the King and Queen, Brandon Day and Paris McQueen, is maybe something where they think that it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Maybe they're thinking about the numbers game also. So, again, it's just interesting comments, something to keep an eye on, something to think about. Maybe we'll see it in the future. But congratulations to Bashley Bones. And then Lucy B. Sweet, just got to get back on the winning ways. What are you looking at?
Let's see if we missed anything.
No, not really. I mean,
I was thinking we were missing something, but we're not.
No, I wrote down, like I said, I try to keep some notes about each match. Some more, some less. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. I didn't have a lot written down for this, but that was because I was focused on the action in the ring.
Well, oh yeah, I was looking because I was thinking we're missing something. But no, it don't matter. We weren't.
I don't think we are. Venom will let us know. Don't worry. He always gives us feedback about how bad we are at doing our job. All right. No. What? No, I'm just kidding. He's a fan. Our next matchup is going to be the return of somebody in a champ. Oh, you think you're so tall now? Oh, you two could play at that game, brother. This is what we're doing now. Okay. Anyway, this matchup is a returning superstar going after a world title. Paxton Calloway has been champion now for getting close to, if not already, a year.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a while now. It's one of the longest reigns we've seen of any champion outside of the tag team championships.
And probably been defended the most.
It's been defended a lot. Hey, actually, now that I've lifted it up, you can actually see
Rick Toms.
Look at that. Rick Toms officially on the podcast finally.
Yeah.
I've been wanting him on the podcast for so long, and we got him.
Hey, Rick Toms. You're like that announcer.
Oh, he doesn't.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't talk. Tom's is awful silent compared to being in the ring.
Paxton Calloway, though, has been a champion for a long time. Like I said, almost a year's. Defended at almost every single show. He's been involved in, he has Bobby Fulton as his manager. So, I mean, he's on a career high in Battle on the Border right now. And the returning member that came back, this was a huge surprise to me because it just was announced like right before this show happened, River City Wrasslin, that he was an NWA superstar, signed, contracted superstar. It is the one, the only, the worst.
The best.
I didn't mean to say that. Carson Drake.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Carson. I guess.
He looked like he was in a funny suit.
Well, yeah, he had like a polo on and had like the little...
Is that what happens when you go big time?
Yeah, he's big time now. I mean, Jim said it in the last video. He is an NWA. He thinks that everywhere is the NWA, and he got a rude awakening, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, he's big time now. I mean, he's walking around a little bit. I mean, he's always kind of had that little air about him, where he's better than everybody. But now it's even worse. And that should tell you something. I mean, you already thought, you guys who have seen Carson Drake, you know how bad he is. Multiply that by 2, that's what he was on. I mean, he was counting people's chins in the ring. He was calling people names as normal. And you know what the biggest offense was? This was, in my opinion, so I have this written down. He called everyone jaw draggers and made fun of a woman's size, called her huge. Not my words, Carson's. Then he was going on about how he had a near career-ending injury, and so he couldn't fight in the match. That's what Carson says. Now listen,
looked like he was walking around all good,
especially considering that he said he had an MCL tear or an ACL tear, whichever one it was. Point is, he didn't seem like he was hurt in any way. He was walking around fine. He was using his arms. My suspicions are that he was just not ready to be in the ring with Paxton. I think he was making an excuse. Carson making an excuse.
I don't know.
Crazy.
The promo looked like he was trying backstage.
I think, you know, I think once he realized, if you saw the promo before the match, before the show, yeah, he did look ready. But remember when he stood up, he kind of realized how big Paxton was. When Paxton stood up, he was like, well, he backed away. So I think that was his moment where he was like, you know what? I don't need this. But there was a catch. We'll get to that in a second. But what I was going back on is the biggest thing that he said, the one that made me mad. He said our podcast sucks.
Well, he knows he sucks.
He looked at us, pointed at us, and said, your podcast sucks. Which, listen, you know what makes me angriest about that is that Carson is our most watched interview.
He is.
We gave him a platform. Look at him now. I'm not saying we're directly responsible, but I'm just saying he could have reciprocated that back. We gave him a platform, our highest viewed interview. And how does he repay us? By calling us terrible. He said we sucked.
And he's the one that was supposed to get the reward.
Yeah, that's another thing. This guy was trying to give you an award for this podcast, and you say it sucks. You know who wouldn't say it sucks? Sergeant Ledbetter, Denham Blevins, my father. None of those people would say our podcast sucks. My dad has said that some episodes are bad, but he wouldn't say it sucks in general. He wouldn't say we suck in general. So that's my biggest grievance. It's a personal one. I'm sorry I got personal, but
I'll go file up through corporate.
Denham, you got to talk to Carson. We will remove the episode. Anyway, the point is,
yeah, Carson will delete you.
No,
cancel culture is you're canceled. No. You're canceled.
I want the NWA fans that search his name. Hopefully, our result comes up and they're like, "Oh, let's see this one.
See Carson Drake.
See what this Double D podcast is all about." Why couldn't Carson mention us to Billy Corgan? Billy Corgan owns the NWA. Why couldn't he say, "Hey, I got on this podcast once, and they're okay. They're not too bad." Why aren't we getting a call from Billy Corgan? Why aren't we getting a call from Al Snow and OVW? Why are we not getting that Carson Drake rub?
Because we're not Carson Drake.
I know. Well, I know. I'm sorry. I lost it there for a second. I'm bringing it back.
Well, you're in the school now, so you can turn into a Carson Drake.
Carson, I'm coming for you, buddy. All right. Anyway, point is,
which was announced also.
We'll get to that.
A few of the members.
We'll get to that in a minute. Carson Drake said, "Listen, I can't wrestle, but I did bring two people with me. That was Vincent Slades and Jacob Sawyer." Now,
you know, in the past, he threatened us with his attorney.
Vincent Slades, right?
He
threatened to sue us because of Vincent Slades.
So, I mean...
yeah. That's true. Good point. So, that's a
and really good attorney didn't say a word to us anyways.
Yeah, no, they were very well. And you know why? Because Carson's talking shit about us.
Fair enough.
God, I'm so mad. Anyway.
And I think I actually like that guy.
Yeah, to think you wanted to give him an award for this podcast. I mean, I
still would.
You would. All right.
I still would. I ain't gonna lie.
Anyway, so those now are going to be those two are going to be facing Carson. Now, Vincent Slades, Jacob Sawyer, two big guys, but compared to Carson, they do look, compared to Paxton, they do look small. But then again, who doesn't look small next to Paxton? But the point is that according to Carson, in this match, if Vincent Slades and Jacob Sawyer won, somehow Carson would end up the world heavyweight champion. I'm not sure how that works. Not sure that's how it works.
I don't think that's how it works.
I don't think that's how, I mean, we can talk to Denham about this in the future, but I don't think that's how that works.
No.
And even if it did, I feel like Vincent Slades and Jacob Sawyer would be pretty upset about that. I think they would want to have maybe they're there doing the dirty work, but then they'd be like, hey, wait a minute, we were the ones that beat Paxton. And then,
unless they were dumb enough to agree to it.
Well, they didn't. Listen, they're big dudes and they have the muscles, the brains. I mean, they're teamed with Carson, so they can't be... I'm sorry, I can't. Listen, I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get beat up. I don't want to get beat up. I'm sorry. Losing my cool. Anyway, point is, that was what they said. I don't think that, again, that's how that works. But Bobby Fulton did call him out. Bobby Fulton,
he don't give a shit.
Greatest manager in Battle on the Border right now, and potentially of all time. I think he'll go down. I mean, he's already in the Hall of Fame. I think that he would, at some point, be he's probably will always be remembered as one of the best managers in Battle on the Border.
Not even that. You can wiki that guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's had a legendary career. Absolutely has. But anyway, Bobby Fulton did call him out and said, I don't think you're injured. I think you're chicken. And so, of course, Bobby Fulton got a chicken chant started. So everyone in the crowd, including me maybe a couple times. Listen, I try to remain impartial while I'm at the shows because I don't want people to think that I'm colluding. I have favorites. This guy has favorites, not me. I'm impartial. So I try to, but I even joined in on that one. I mean, he said our podcast sucked. It felt only right. But listen, so Paxton's not one to bow down from challenge. He saw 2 people and he's like, I don't care if I have to take on 10 people. I'm defending this title. I'm defending the honor of Battle on the Border also, I think, is part of that too. Carson comes waltzing in here, has 2 new people come in this match. He's like, no, this is Battle on the Border. You don't call the shots here. I do, basically. I mean, Den does, but I'm the world champion. I do. So Paxton, not one to back down, started pushing Jacob Sawyer and Vincent Slades around literally. Like I said, if you see Jacob Sawyer and Vincent Slades, they're big dudes. Like I said, compared to Paxton, though. So Paxton was pushing him around. That takes some power to do. But this match broke down quickly. Carson at some point took off the top rope completely and just started using it. And I mean, listen, it was weak anyway. It was off anyway. He started yelling at referees. He was yelling at fans anyway. He was starting to, Vincent Slades and Jacob Sawyer were using the rope, and somehow the referee just let it go.
They were trying to tie him up.
They were tying him up at one point. It got ridiculous. It got to the point to where eventually, at some point, it was too much. But listen, yeah, I have here, Carson took off the top rope and tied Paxton's legs. That's how they were going to beat him. I mean, if you can't hit him and make him fall, that's one way to get him to fall. Tie up his legs, he can't get up. But don't worry, Paxton was able to get out of that situation. So at some point, a double suplex was hit on Paxton. So it took both Vincent Slades and Jacob Sawyer to hit a suplex on Paxton. Again, Paxton's 7 foot tall, 400 pounds. You know, what's funny is I saw a little bit of a sidebar here. I saw on Facebook that Carson Drake and Paxton Calloway video, that promo that happened before the show. In the comments, some people who are obviously not fans of Battle on the Border or of Paxton Calloway at the very least, they were doubting that he was as tall and as big as he was. In the comments, there were people saying he's not 7 foot, he's not 400. No, he's not.
Tell him to come look.
I'm telling you right now, dude, he is 7 feet. Look, I'm 6'2", and he towers over me.
Come to a show and you'll find out.
I'd tell him that to his face. See what happens.
He'll talk to you.
So
I'm sure.
Of course, with Carson being involved in this match, there were some underhanded tactics. There was some stuff going on. At some point, Carson had the world title. I don't know how he weaseled his way into that, but he had the world title in his hands, and he went to go hit Paxton, but he accidentally hit Jacob Sawyer. That's not good. That was your insurance policy, basically. Then Carson got hit with the title also. Got hit right in the breadbasket. And of course, he goes rolling out and running away, because of course he does. I mean, he claimed he was injured. Now he's definitely injured. And he's got a bruised rib at least. He got hit with that title hard in the midsection. Yeah. And then Paxton was able to win with a double choke slam on Vincent Slades and Jacob Sawyer to retain the title. And that's hopefully, listen, Carson Drake on a real level, on an honest level. It's great seeing him back. Yeah. However, he came in, thought he ran the place. And he got quickly taught that's not what happens. You don't run this place. And in the future, I hope that Paxton is able to get his hands on Carson, because that's what we all want to see. We all want to see Carson.
Oh, we've seen it once.
Yeah, we have. And I want to see it again. I want to see Carson get choke slammed. I want to see Carson get thrown.
If I'm not mistaken, he's gotten thrown out of the ring by him before.
Yes, he has.
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, just to jog back my memory, I don't remember what show, but I'm pretty sure he threw him out the ring.
Yeah. So, listen, Paxton, great champion, will still continue to be a great champion for as long as he's champion. I don't see anybody who can stop him. He's went through Craven recently, Shane Mercer recently. He's went through Bam Bam Bundy back in New Year's Eve. I mean, he's...
Has he hit Congo, though?
No. Well, and we'll get to that later. We will get to that later about that maybe being a possibility. We will see. Oh, I just thought of something. I'll try to remember it. But anyway, Carson.
You might want to note it.
Hasta la vista. Hopefully, I will. Hold on, everybody. Okay, moving on. Yeah, I do like that 2 words, just nice little keywords. Moving on, we have a pretty personal rivalry match here. Actually, before we get to that, something was announced at the midpoint, which I think is important to mention. Hold on, I gotta take a drink, sorry. Can you talk to them? No dead air on this.
We heard your ice.
You did? Okay, thanks. Something major was announced, and we don't want to gloss over it because we could accidentally. Amos, the former masked man, leader of the masked men potentially, cashed in the golden ticket of David Barnabas Spector to win the hardcore title. I think only had one defense, was supposed to have maybe 2 or 3 other ones. Hasn't been at shows, hasn't showed up. And Denham made the executive decision to strip Amos of the hardcore title. So the hardcore title is now vacant.
Yep.
Which begs the question, what should happen with the hardcore title? I am a big fan of tournaments. I think a tournament should be held.
I like tournaments too.
Tournaments should be held. I think you could even make it last weeks, or multiple shows, weeks. I guess it's a week. Monthly shows. You could make it last all the way until New Year's Eve. There's so many people out there for hardcore. We've seen Ron Mathis do hardcore. We know Adam Rogers can get hardcore. Maybe somebody from outside the company. We've seen Aaron Gunn before. Hooks, obviously.
King Kong Pete's back.
King Kong Pete's back. There's so many different names it could be. So I think it's something.
Gunn.
Right? Exactly. So it could be someone that for months in a row that we see, but I do eventually there will be another hardcore champion. It is the hardcore title. It is not the pure championship. No. I was trying to play devil's advocate when I was on the show because he was champion, but now he's not champion. It's the hardcore title. It's no pure championship. It's a hardcore championship. So as much as Amos has been a thorn in our side, it seems like him winning the hardcore title was all it took for him to leave. I mean, Denham's been battling the masked guys, and he's been like the master of the masked men for a long time, for like a year, a little bit more than that now, almost getting closer to 2. And all it took was for him to win a title, and he left. And just like that. And the masked men are all unmasked, I guess. So is this the official end of the masked men?
I think maybe.
I mean, I know
once he had his masked men getting up, he could handle it. But
I know that we've said before that there could be 20 to 30 masked men. We had no clue. But I think without Amos there,
kind of limits it.
It kind of seems like maybe the masked men are over, So we'll see what happens with the hardcore title. Comment down below what you think should happen with the hardcore title. Who do you think, should it be a tournament? Should it be one big match? Should it be a battle royal? And who knows? By the time that this goes up, maybe that announcement has been made. As of this moment, though, we don't know what's going to happen with the hardcore title. We'll find out eventually.
I know you went to the brigade, if you're part of the brigade, to ask about what they think what we think the idea should be.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see. And also was announced that Battle on the Border is starting a training school, a class. And I've kept it kind of quiet because I didn't want it to be public knowledge as of yet. I was waiting until the public announcement was made.
And it was.
I have decided to enter into the BOTB training class. Now, what that means, I don't know. I've never really thought about being a professional wrestler, but when Denham asked me, I said yes without hesitation. So that means something. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means that I'll be wrestling, professionally for, 10, 20, 30 years. I don't know if that means I'm only going to have a couple matches. We'll see how it goes. I'm coming into it hoping that the outcome of this will be a career, potentially, something that I do at least at Battle on the Border, maybe a couple other places. I don't really know. But I am a part of it. So I did want to make that announcement. I am a part of it. There are also some other people who are a part of it. Jeff King's daughter and wife are also a part of it.
Which is really cool.
There's also some other people. I'm not trying to leave anybody out, but I also don't know everybody. I haven't met everybody.
I'm surprised Jeff King's whole family didn't want to join that.
I know. I'm surprised it wasn't all 8 spots were taken by Jeff. There probably would have been. Didn't put a limit. Only 2 of them. We can't have all 8. But I do know, I believe one person's name is Cameron Scott. I believe is one of them.
That is.
I believe. I apologize if I'm wrong about that. I don't want to say any more names in case I'm wrong, but keep that in mind. There is something going on. So if I ever come onto a podcast and I'm bruised up, maybe not talkative as much.
I beat him up.
I got beat up in the training school. Like I said, I'm more excited about it. I'm excited about it because I don't know what that means. Like, could I be a professional wrestler? I mean, who knows? But it'll get me in some good shape. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to start taking it. I'm going to take it extremely seriously. And hopefully when I'm on here, I'm talking about one of my matches. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? Also, I mean, do you want to talk about the fact that you were also supposed to do it?
Yeah, I was supposed to do it, but I had a shoulder injury and we'll have to submit the next show.
It's like Carson's shoulder injury.
Next year.
Carson's shoulder injury. Oh, I'm hurt.
Next school. I don't know when the next school would start.
Hey, so you know what? Maybe the Double D podcast will be a tag team at some point. Tag team division stacked, but it doesn't have the Double D. It's not that stacked. It's not Double D stacked.
They don't know what's coming.
They don't know what's coming. We've been friends for 17 years. Well, if you do that, we're done. We lost the match. We're done.
I wonder if I can learn to do a backflip.
I'm sure you can. I'll teach you.
I'll do a backflip.
So that's another announcement, though. Just want to make that public knowledge. So hey, we'll see what that is.
Because then we would have got the double D's going a little faster, but...
Yeah. I'll wait for it. I mean, I'm not going to wait for it. I'm going to get a strong foothold in, and then when you come in...
I'll weasel in.
You jump on my back. Yeah, you do. Weasel onto this podcast somehow. I mean, it's called the Double D Podcast, bro.
I mean, we started off of each other.
Yeah, we did.
Off ourselves.
I don't really think we should spend too much time more on things that aren't wrestling related, but I did want to mention, I don't know if we've ever mentioned where we came up with the name for the Double D Podcast. Obviously, when we were kids, we always joked around about our names both beginning with D, and that's Double D, that's funny. We even came up with a joke one time about making brawls called Double D's Brawls because they were double D's, and that's the funny joke. So then when we started a podcast, we were like, well, Double D's makes no sense. Makes no sense.
It kind of fit in with everything and stuck with us for the years. So.
Yeah, now look at it. Now we're still a Double D Podcast after we're getting close.
Now I turned 26 in 2 days. Or in 2 weeks.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And it'll be 4 years coming up next April. That's crazy. Crazy. Time flies. Yeah,
4 years.
4 years in April.
Holy shit!
We've only been working with Battle on the Border for half of that, but I mean,
that's still nuts. 4 years.
When we started, it wasn't even a wrestling podcast.
No, we started. It was getting hammered in a garage talking about something. It was mostly how much you could drink during a podcast.
Yeah, it was that at one point. And now look at us. Now we're professionals.
Then we had the drunk knowledge or some shit that I was going to do.
Drunk wisdom.
Yeah, drunk wisdom.
How we've matured. All right, moving on.
There's more adults, kids.
Well, yeah, you have kids. I don't.
Nuts.
Moving on. This is a very personal match. Sorry for that little brief thing, but, you know.
Reminiscent shit.
This matchup is a personal matchup. And it involves two former masked men. We saw TJ Fury get unmasked back, I believe it was on New Year's Eve, from Amos, on Amos's demand, on his command. We saw Ethan Evans get unmasked by TJ Fury. And those two are lifelong friends. They've trained together. They came through the ranks together. And Ethan Evans, apparently TJ Fury didn't necessarily know that Ethan Evans was a masked man until he was unmasked, which I think is interesting, especially considering that Ethan Evans was the one that unmasked TJ Fury and turned on him. Maybe he did know and was more just upset by that betrayal. I don't really know how the masked man lore works because they don't talk to us.
No, they're mute.
So this was going into this match a very, very heated contest. These two do not like each other. And this was the match going into this that I was the most looking forward to because we know that TJ Fury is good.
Yeah.
I mean, but what is Ethan Evans like?
Yeah.
Outside of the mask, because inside of a mask, maybe he's kind of hides some of his personality. But now his personality gets to come out, you know. So, but the fans were definitely behind TJ Fury in this one. How couldn't you be? I mean, he's kind of like the. I mean, he was a masked guy once, but he's trying to right his wrongs for it, you know, and that's what's important. This was a great match, back and forth. Ethan Evans talking about this match. I mean, TJ Fury is great, absolutely great. He's agile, he's quick, he's good. But Ethan Evans, this was the first time that we got to see him truly. He has some surprising power.
Oh, fuck yeah, he does.
He was actually able to hit a power bomb, I believe, at one point in this matchup. So that's something to keep an eye on. Ethan Evans, not necessarily the biggest dude, but he has some power. So that's something to keep an eye on. In this match, I was definitely rooting for TJ Fury. I won't even lie. You know, we've talked about the masked men on this show a lot. We don't like him.
I was rooting for TJ Fury too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but unfortunately, even though the mask is off, the underhanded tactics are still there. And Ethan Evans was able to get the victory. In fact, he was able to get the victory with a low blow kick while the referee wasn't looking from behind. Like, you know, TJ Fury was behind him. Ethan Evans threw up the leg. Got him right in the gonads. Right in the yam bag, as Taz would say.
What's a yam bag?
Yam bag, that's what Taz from AEW's commentary team calls the southern region. I don't really know what we can say on YouTube, so I'm trying to be I'm trying to be like a childish with it, but you know what I'm talking about. But
the sack.
Ethan Evans was able to get the victory here, unfortunately. So I'm going to venture to say that this is not the last time we see these two in the ring. I mean, we do know that TJ Fury did defeat Ethan Evans once when Ethan Evans was a masked man. Yeah. It was in Clarksville. But the question is, now they're technically tied 1-1 in the series, if this was like a series thing. Yeah. So do we see a rematch?
Oh, we have to. They just can't leave us hanging.
The other question is, though, hardcore titles up for grabs. And Ethan Evans seems like he might be able to fit that mold. Who knows? If Ethan Evans joins, maybe TJ Fury does? Or, I mean, does TJ Fury maybe focus on the zero gravity division.
So I see him going for more zero gravity.
And Ethan Evans might still trying to defend the honor of Amos in some way. I think he might have some connection to Amos.
He's brainwashed.
Yeah, he's been brainwashed, right? So I mean, I don't know. It's just something to think about. I don't really know what's next for these two. I think it's going to be a rematch, but we'll see. Time will tell. Moving on though, in our next match after that is Ryan the Rage Freeman and Party Mike Howard. This is a match I was looking forward to because these are two completely contrasting styles. Ryan Freeman is a big, kind of grungy, doesn't talk much dude. I mean, he does promos and stuff. He does talk, but he's just down to business. And Party Mike's about the party.
He comes out to screamo.
Right. Ryan Freeman comes out to screamo. Party Mike's the life of the party. Woo. It's a lot different. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. That demeanor of that party lifestyle, don't discount Party Mike. Dude's talented and could be a champion anywhere and could be eventually in the future here. So don't take that, don't confuse that. But it's two contrasting styles. But it is a heavyweight bout, so maybe we see one of these two take Pat on Paxton. Whoever wins, maybe that's the next challenge for Paxton. I don't know. We'll find out. But Ryan doesn't have Kickdoor Promotions to lean on. Nope. And even when he did, so Ryan Freeman was a part of Kickdoor Promotions earlier this year. Then when Russell, he's kind of been missing for a while. I don't really know. I thought at first maybe he was on a recruiting trip. Now I question whether or not he's even around.
Yeah, I don't know where he's at.
I mean, how do you feel as a Kickdoor fan? You were the biggest Kickdoor promotions fan.
I still got the sticker on my car.
Yeah. So, I mean, how do you feel right now about, like, Kickdoor not really being a thing? I mean, we've seen Casey Clay kind of move on. She, like, turned on, but she's moved on.
It kind of sucks. I was hoping to see what they could do.
We haven't seen Storm since. We'll talk about that in a second. But we haven't seen Storm since.
I was hoping that they would keep it up.
I thought, legitimately, my biggest worry was that Kickdoor was going to run BOTB. I thought at one point, I thought Jake Shepard would be world champion and Ryan Freeman would become a champion of some sort. Storm, Casey would become champions in their own rights, and some, maybe both of them somehow are women's champion, or who knows. They're so good. Storm and Casey are so good. They could win any title. Yeah. They could win a world title if they wanted to. I mean, honestly, there was a talented group of people, but I think all those egos maybe got in the way. Maybe there was some backdoor drama that we don't know. Some Kickdoor drama we didn't know.
Kickdoor drama?
Maybe, I don't know. It's just, I wonder.
I'm not sure. It's strange, though. They fall face to earth that quick.
But the question is then, so Ryan Freeman doesn't have Kickdoor, but then he did have Matt Taylor to rely on in Sunman. But now Matt Taylor's not there, so he's completely on his own for the first, that we've seen him for the first time really at all in Battle on the Border. Yeah. Before he's at least had Kickdoor or Matt Taylor, now he's completely on his own. So it was interesting to see what would happen there. Freeman Sucks chants started, so obviously the fans are rooting for Party Mike. Fans love Party Mike. Fans love Party Mike. We've actually interviewed Party Mike. Sometimes I forget that we've interviewed Party Mike, and that's we've interviewed a lot of people. I forget sometimes we've interviewed as many people as we have. We truly have interviewed a lot of people. Party Mike's a great interview. Great guy. I recommend go check it out on our channel. Great interview. He gave a story about a road story that he had with, I believe, Carson Drake was involved in that. I could be wrong. I apologize if I am. But maybe it was Justin Xavier and Jaden Jett. But the point is he had a great road story. So go check it out. Absolutely.
Yeah, gotta watch it.
Huge fan of him. So the fans love Party Mike. Freeman hits hard is what I have written down here. Freeman is a big dude.
Freeman hits very hard.
Freeman is a big dude. And Party Mike is in his own right a pretty big dude also. But Freeman hits hard. I mean, you could hear it. It was loud. We were kind of far away. We're not front row. No. We're not like...
We're sitting way out.
Miles away.
When you go, you could see where we're sitting. It was pretty loud.
It's pretty loud. We could hear it loud from where we were, so I can only imagine. A lot of time was spent on the outside. I don't know if these two have a previous history or if the thought that maybe if they win, they can get closer to Paxton was in play, but they spent a lot of time on the outside. It was a very personal matchup. They were hitting each other hard. Ring posts were involved. It was a crazy match in that way. Mike used Freeman. I don't know. I can't even write my own handwriting. Sick against him? That doesn't seem like kick. I don't know. Just pretend I didn't say it. I can't even read my own handwriting. It's so bad.
Where you at?
Right here. Mike used Freeman's kick against him. Sick against him. Don't even worry about it. Side against him? Maybe. Point is, size.
Size.
Sorry, that's a bad shoulder. Sorry. Size. Freeman did use, Party Mike did use Freeman's size against him. Like I said, Freeman's a big dude, so smart of Party Mike to do that. Party Mike's
sick against him,
It looks like sick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Size is his size. Use his size against him.
It's a K, not a Z.
Yeah, sorry. I suck at writing. But Ryan Freeman used his size against him. Party Mike's kind of a veteran at this point. I mean, he's been doing it for a few years, so he's picked up some things. He knows some tricks.
Oh, yeah.
He used his size against him. But Ryan Freeman did end up getting the victory here. Ryan Freeman choked out Party Mike. Now, it's not the first time that we've seen that. The first time we saw that was in Sunman against Jeff King. He choked out Jeff King in front of his family. We talked about how much of a madman you have to be in order to do that. So Ryan Freeman is somebody who I think the BOTB Brigade needs to watch, because I think this guy, I mean, if there's anybody, I mean, we've seen Craven, like I said, we've seen Shane Mercer, we've seen all these people go up against Paxton. Ryan Freeman, I think, especially after this victory,
he might be next. Signature move is choking him out.
Choking him out. And listen, Paxton's a big dude, but you don't have to worry about his size if he's choked out on the ground.
Yeah. Size doesn't matter when you're choked.
So listen, I think you guys have to pay attention to Ryan Freeman. I think he could potentially be the next world champion. I really
he gets in there and gets her done, man.
Yeah. So Party Mike will have to bounce back from this.
Well, 100. He will. He always does.
He will. But
Party Mike always bounces back.
I know. I wasn't saying he won't. I'm just saying he has to. But congratulations, I guess, to Ryan Freeman. Although, like I said, I'm not going to talk ill about him because I don't want him to choke me out. I mean, he will choke me out in front of my own family. He'll choke me out in front of anybody.
That'd be pretty funny.
What if you get choked out by Ryan Freeman? Would that be so funny?
Nah, he won't choke me out. We're cool.
Yeah, you probably are cool with him. Well, you know, you were part of Kickdoor at one point, basically.
I was not part.
Basically, you were like their cheerleader.
I was a supporter.
So is that continuing on? Are you still going to continue cheering?
Oh, fuck yeah. Once Kickdoor comes back,
I dropped the F-bomb. Well, not even just Kickdoor, but I mean like the members of Kickdoor outside of Casey. I guess you hate Casey.
Yeah, but I'll still be back.
Still going to be fans of him?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering. I mean, because
I enjoyed, not only did I enjoy Russell and Kickdoor, I enjoyed the group he had going. I enjoyed all the people that was in it. The team itself worked great. It just
question
off for a minute. I hope they come back.
We'll see.
Together.
We'll see.
It sucks not seeing them together, but I don't know. We'll see what the future has.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main event. We've hinted at it a lot throughout this whole show, and I'm excited to get to it because this was, in my opinion, the match of the night. This was the moment of the night. This is, I think, the moment that will stick out to fans the most. They won't forget this. This has been a long time coming. Surge, who didn't even have to cash in his golden ticket to get this matchup. Yep. And I think it was a strategic move on David Barnabas Spector, Congo Kong, and I would normally say Madman Fulton, although Madman Fulton was not at this show.
Yep.
I guess he didn't want to spend time in Harrison with the, what is David Barnabas Spector always call it insectoids in Harrison. Yep. But I think it was a strategic move. Surge doesn't necessarily have a partner, and he's like, oh, come on, let's take him on. You can find a friend. And guess what? When the match started, Surge did not have a partner. No. Surge had nothing. So he was going out. He was going to try to win the tag team champions on his own. And then that's another good question. We were talking about earlier with Carson. Could Surge be a tag team champion without a tag team partner? I mean, could that be a thing?
If he beat him, yeah.
Give him the title.
2 belts.
He's a tag team in his own. Surge is a big dude. Spector came out first, of course, because he had to just talk. He loves talking. He loves hearing himself talk.
He just walked out.
And he yelled at us.
Yeah. I figured he'd want a little bit of music.
He didn't want any music.
No. He's just weird.
He came out and we were like, well, we should probably play some music for him. So it's kind of a long walk. And then we played it and he yelled at us to turn the music off.
So we turned it off.
We listened to David Barnabas Spector. I don't listen. He has some big dudes on this.
Yeah, I don't want Congo breaking my table.
Oh yeah, you think you're yeah. You think your one shoulder is bad. You tear up your other shoulder too. Madman Fulton is not here, but he was replaced. Don't worry, it's not a one-on-one match anymore. There was going to be a tag team match. If David Barnabas Spector had anything to do about it, there was going to be a tag team match, and he did. And he replaced him with CFR. This isn't the first time we've seen the CFR. We've seen CFR before a couple times in Battle on the Border. First time that we've seen him with Spectre Enterprises.
Yes.
So that was kind of a shocking move.
That was weird that he was Spectre.
Spectre works in mysterious ways, kind of like the Masked Man. I don't know how many Spectre Enterprise members there are, truly. There could be 60 for all we know.
Hidden ones.
Right, some hidden ones.
And you know he's got other promotions too.
And listen, yes, exactly, right. You know, so, we know that and you know what? Another fun fact about this match, Congo Kong we've interviewed, and we've interviewed Spectre.
Yep.
Also. And we've also interviewed Surge.
Yep. There's
2 people in this match we haven't interviewed, CFR and Bomani. So that might have to change in the future, going forward. I don't know. We might have to get used to it. Listen, if you're watching this and you're a wrestler, because sometimes wrestlers do watch this, hey, hit us up, dude. We're ready to do interviews all the time.
I guess we ought to jump forward.
Why? Well, the people who are here, they know who, people who watch this, they know who the tag team partners was.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't interviewed a lot of people. We haven't interviewed Paxton. We haven't interviewed Vincent Slades. We haven't interviewed a lot of people.
Fair enough.
Amos, he's gone now, but still, Aaron Gunn.
We can interview with him.
So I'm just saying we haven't interviewed a lot of people.
He would just want to come in and start bashing the house with freaking weapons.
Right. We haven't interviewed a lot of people is what I'm saying.
I think that's all he thinks is hit with weapons.
Right.
Weapon. Make it hurt.
Yeah. Well, you see him get like slammed into some light tubes there, Aaron Gunn. I mean, he's a crazy. I don't know if we want to interview him. He might hit us with something.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, you're psycho. So yeah, he made, at some point though, Spectre made fun of the ring, made fun of Surge and Bomani for not getting the job done the first time. He was like, oh, you couldn't get the job done. Bomani's retired now. You don't have a partner. What a loser. Ha ha. Making all those jokes. Yeah. Spectre thinks he's funny. But you know what? There's a reason why he's a wrestling manager, not a comedian. Actually was. Yeah. So, but hey, Surge still has the golden ticket. He didn't need to even cash it in for this. Nope. But it is a 2-on-1 for the title. Like I said, question becomes,
who's going to be next?
Well, and not only that, but also, if he won, would he be tag team champion by himself? I don't know. But 2-on-1 against Congo Kong and CFR is not going to go well. Congo Kong's a big dude, CFR small and quick, which actually works in his favor because Surge is a big dude. So it was actually a really good replacement. And it did not look good for Surge. It looked really bad for Surge. At some point, it actually looked like this was just going to be a wasted main event. You know, I don't like to say that about anything because everything has meaning. But when you just see two people beating down on one guy, it's not fun. No. It's not fun at all. And just when it started to seem like it was starting to become pointless, and I almost even looked at Darren and said, like, let's pack it up early. Like, we gotta get. I mean, we know. I don't want to see Surge. Yeah, beat the traffic. I don't want to see Surge. I do want to see Surge hold the title. I don't want to see Congo Kong and CFR holding these titles up. I don't want to see that. You know what I mean? So it looked like all hope was lost, and then out of nowhere, a horn.
This car.
Now, listen, this is not necessarily near a road. So when you hear a horn or a car, and it's a little, you're a little shocked. You're like, what's going on here?
Loud music.
Yeah, we heard some commotion, and I pointed at Darren. There's a car coming.
I thought someone was coming to run into the room.
I was thinking like, hey, this car's getting close. We might need to evacuate the area. Yeah. So this car's and then it stopped though. And guess whose head? I already kind of spoiled it, but just play along. Whose head popped out? It was King Bomani. Now we've been wondering for a long time where Bomani's been. We saw his retirement match. We thought he was retired. We thought he was gone.
He was hiding,
but he came back. He hid in his car at the wall. At center field wall, left center field wall. Came driving down. He wasn't driving, don't worry. Someone else was his manager. I apologize, by the way, in advance. I do not know who the manager is. I apologize for that. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen him, so I apologize. I don't know his name. But he evened the odds on Spectre. Because King Monty came out and he got that tag in. He started clearing house. And guess what? Without Spectre being dealt with, he was dealt with on the outside. Yeah. He couldn't interfere. He couldn't get involved. Without all that outside distraction, now it's a 2-on-2, completely fresh, man. We have new tag team champions. King Bomani and Eric Surge are your tag team champions. This feels like it should have happened back in December without Nick Barney getting involved in the ring and changing the decision. I'm still mad about it.
You're still butthurt about
it. Yeah, I am, because it was a great moment and it got ruined. But you know what? That great moment that we thought got ruined was even better. Because let me tell you something. I've been to a lot of Battle on the Border shows now. Every single show since 2022 started, basically. I haven't missed a show. You've only missed one. Yeah. And that was because of a prior engagement.
And that was the show that you run short, even.
Right. Yeah.
So
as my point is, like, we've been to a lot of shows. That was one of the loudest I'd ever heard the crowd. Was when Bomani popped his head up. When Bomani popped his head up, it was so loud. It was the crowd. You could just tell they wanted this. They didn't know it was coming. They thought, we thought like, oh, we'll pack up and leave. I'm glad no one did, because they got to stick around and they got to see Bomani drive from. I mean, it was one of the coolest entrances that I've seen to a match ever. It was great. It was worth sitting through Surge getting beat up for a while just to see them finally have the tag team championships.
Now, the question I have is, since he wasn't there before the bell, does it count?
Yeah, it counts. His partner was running late. There was traffic. He can't do anything. I mean, there wasn't traffic. He was sitting out in this car that was suspiciously placed out there in center field.
I was wondering why that car was.
We thought. I mean, listen, there was a lot of cars out there. I just kind of thought it was like maybe
one of the workers, one of the fans.
I mean, we had some people holding up or building up the ring. Like I thought maybe like that was.
We've never even seen Bomani's car.
I didn't know. I didn't know Bomani was there. I was. We didn't have music queued up.
No,
we had no clue he was going to be there. I mean, we
had music blaring through the radio.
We hadn't heard from Bomani since that show.
We were supposed to do an interview with him.
There was a couple rumored interviews where we were going to have him on and try to get him out of. Well, I was going to try to get him out of retirement.
I was going to convince him to stay in retirement.
Right. We were going to try to get him on multiple times. I think that's why I was so excited. Where I didn't even realize that I spoiled it earlier on when I said Bomani's name.
No, say you fucking give it away.
When you said we might as well move on, I was like, oh, I did say his name. But I'm just so excited that Bomani is finally a champion. A tag team champion with Surge. It was worth, and listen, they're going to be great tag team champions. We know that. I can't wait to see their defenses. They're going to be great. They work so well together. So I'm super excited about that. The question becomes, Batman Fulton wasn't even there and he lost his title. So Batman Fulton's going to be pissed when he comes back. He's going to be like,
wait, what the hell are you doing?
Spectre called him after the show and was like,
But if you noticed, did you notice after the match?
Big moment did happen after. And this is something that that's why I wrote this down. Because after the match was over, the celebrations going on in the ring, Spectre, being Spectre, you've called him, I'm saying that, not my opinion, you called him an asshole before, I have not. So just remember that. But he, being that, he kind of weaseled his way over to that golden ticket. We mentioned before, he did not have to use the golden ticket for this match.
Nope.
But he weaseled his way over to that golden ticket, and he stole it.
Yep.
Now the question is, does it count since he stole it? I think we talked about this with Jim and Mike. If we didn't, I apologize. I think we actually talked about Bomani being the mystery partner on that. Maybe not. I don't remember. But the point is, if he stole it, is it his?
No.
Does Spectre have the golden ticket? That's not.
It can't be.
You can't. It's not like
Denim would have to intervene and say something about it.
I mean, Denim, that's a question for you. If you're watching this,
Denim, come on the Cobb podcast.
Come on the Cobb
next week, and let's get this figured out.
Next week, let's get it figured out. I'm honestly interested. I mean, I don't know. Is that how it works? I don't know. I mean, this might have been something that has happened in the past before in Battle on the Border. Maybe we don't know about it. I don't know.
Yeah, because you would think once you want it, you've got it. Nobody can just steal it from you. If that's the case, everybody would be stealing it.
Why hasn't anyone thought about that before? Or have they? And we're just behind on the times. I don't know. But the point is, if it does count, this is my fantasy. This is what I wrote down earlier. Congo Kong, you mentioned, has not faced Paxton for the title. I mean, maybe he has.
Faced him yet. That'd be two big dudes. I mean,
maybe he has, and it's just been something that we've forgotten about because it's been so long. But the point is that now he doesn't even necessarily have to face Paxton in a scheduled match. If Spectre does have the golden ticket,
if he was successfly able to steal it, it's in the rules that he can.
He doesn't even have to have a match with him. He can wait until Paxton wrestles who knows who. Some big 8-foot guy. Andre the Giant came back from the dead. Fighting Paxton. Wembenyama from the NWA is facing Paxton.
I don't know if it's Wembenyama.
7'5" or something. 7'6". A little taller. Point is, it's a big guy facing Paxton. Paxton's getting beat down. He does win, but he gets beat down. And then it all comes Kong from, we've seen it before. I mean, that's what I wrote down was that.
That's how Amos won the hardcore.
Exactly. So, like, is that what we're going to see? Is that in the rules? Is that not in the rules? I don't really know. So I'm interested to see what happens there. I imagine it still surges, but maybe it's in the rules where that can be a thing.
We need to figure out video chat.
Yeah.
We need a video chat and figure it out.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to them.
We'll have to do a podcast on this.
Because we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it's something to keep an eye on. So, but overall, River City Wrasslin, great show. Absolutely love it. Cannot wait. And we are not going to have to wait much longer. The day that we're filming this, it is not August yet. By the time this comes out, it will almost certainly be August. So happy August to everybody. In August, what are you doing? What was that? Jesus! Oh, it's a flippy. Oh my God!
What did you think of putting your hair?
Scissors! I thought you were cutting my hair. I was about to lose it.
You said you were going to do it.
I was about to lose it. I have threatened to cut my hair. That's one way to get me to do it. It's fucking Jesus! You guys. I hope you saw the fear in my. I was terrified. Anyway.
That was not part of the podcast.
We will not have to wait long until the next show because the next show is August 31st. So real quick, going to look. I already know the matches, but I want to double check and make sure. Hey, I had it. This isn't helping. All right, here we go. So in Middletown, it will be at Slabjacks T-shirts. We did a show there last year.
Yep.
So if you're at that show, then you know where it's at. If not, there will be some instructions later on coming up about how to get to the show, where the show's at. It's a great time. The last year's show, it was honestly one of my favorite shows. It was a change of pace for us.
It goes into the night.
Goes into the night. Sometimes there's fireworks, maybe.
Maybe.
Just maybe.
I don't know. River was pretty strict.
Last time there was a couple fireworks that happened last time though.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not saying we shoot them off. I'm saying that someone somewhere is shooting them off.
I didn't think about that.
Anyway, August 31st, big match. We're going to go down here to this one because this one I'm really excited about. So on Saturday, August 31st at Slabjacks DTG Novelties and More in Middletown, Ohio, BOTB fans are in for a treat. Straight from Battle on the Border Pro Wrestling's Facebook page. And a first-time ever matchup, 2 of BOTB's elite lock horns at the top of the heavyweight division. Who wins the epic showdown between the Iron Demon, Shane Mercer, and the Unchained King, Brandon Day? Hey, I've been watching wrestling for a long time. When I say that this is a pay-per-view level or a premium live event, as WWE calls it, this could be a main event in any company. This is I mean, when I saw this, I'm blown away. Shane Mercer lifted up Paxton in that match against Paxton.
He's a strong dude.
He's a strong dude. Venom has told us multiple times that he is the strongest person he's met. And that's saying something. Venom's met some people.
Oh, yeah.
Unchained King Brandon Day has kind of entered into this career renaissance in BOTB. He has Paris McQueen with him. We saw Gideon Hayes team with him. It's no longer called, and I want to make sure I get this right because I don't want to say the wrong name. Give me a second. I said the last time that it was called the Unchained Kingdom. It is no longer the Unchained Kingdom. It is the Unchained Empire. So it's the Unchained. So he has Gideon Hayes, Paris McQueen in his Unchained Empire. Maybe that grows. We don't know. Who knows? But he has to take on Shane Mercer, strongest guy around.
It's gonna be a tough opponent.
This is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. This is a match I'm looking forward to so much. I really do think if you were thinking about going just off of this match announcement alone, you should want to.
Yeah, you should probably be there.
Because I have a feeling that this match will determine the next step for the BOTB heavyweight division. Because I mean, if Shane Mercer is able to defeat Brandon Day, I mean, then he might get another shot at Paxton. But if Brandon Day wins, maybe he gets that shot at Paxton, and Brandon Day could win. I mean, you know, I can't believe it. And you know another match that was announced that I think is another pay-per-view level match? It is the return of someone we mentioned earlier on in the show. It is the return of Storm Garson. Yep. She will be taking on the women's champion, Shauna Reed, for the title. Title is on the line. It's great to see Storm back. We haven't seen Storm in a while. Yep. It's great to see her back. Super excited. She is, in my opinion, and listen, I'm not a huge fan of her tactics, her underhanded tactics. She does sometimes cheat to win. I said it. Listen, hey, I'll just be honest. But now that Russell's not involved, maybe Russell will show back up. We don't know. But as of now, that'd be cool. We don't know. But I'm just assuming that Russell will not be a part of the show. Won't be there. But maybe he will. Maybe this will be the return. But Storm will be there. And Storm getting back to that, just focusing on the wrestling, no more outside distractions. This is Shauna's first title defense, I believe, right? Second or third. Point is that this is her toughest competition. I truly believe that it doesn't, even if it's her first match, it's still going to be, I mean, the women's division is stacked. And we said earlier, there's so many people that could be champion easily. Storm is one of those people.
Oh, 100%.
Shauna has beaten her twice, I do believe, in the past. In fact, in order to win the title, Shauna had to defeat Storm. So that's something to keep in mind. I believe there was another time. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's been twice now that Shauna's beaten Storm. Yeah. This will be 3 times. Now, Storm made a post on Facebook that said that if she can't beat Shauna the 3rd time, she's going to take some time away from Battle on the Border. Because obviously she's not ready for that level of competition. And I just want to say, Storm is definitely ready for that level of competition. Shauna's a great wrestler. Losing to Shauna is not losing to a nobody. No. Now, Storm's very talented. Shauna's very talented. I'm excited to see this match.
She's freaking hurt. Super Oprah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I put you as a strong competitor.
Exactly. So, going back to the match beforehand, and then we'll end with the Shauna match. Who do you think is going to win? Shane Mercer or Brandon Day?
Brandon Day.
I'm going to go with Shane Mercer. Shane Mercer's Tough, obviously. Strong.
Brandon Day is too.
Brandon Day is. I'm not discounting Brandon. Brandon Day would be nice to have on the podcast, although I don't want to get bullied again by anybody on the podcast, but he would be a nice interview.
He'd probably bully both of us.
Yeah, he probably would. He's kind of a bully. He did call Paris McQueen his property, so he's not exactly worried about offending people.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever works for them. I'm not, whatever works for them in their relationship. I'm not getting in between them. Yeah, I think Shane, you think Brandon. Not surprised. Kind of thought that's how it was going to go. Now, the question is, Sean, and then, wait, we said earlier, Shane and Brandon Day could be match of the night. Shauna and Storm put on an amazing match on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve bash. So this also could be, this already just from 2 match announcements is a stacked show.
Yeah.
So this could easily be match of the night. Super excited about both of these matches. Banger, by the way, hey, you don't like them, but shout out to Devin for giving us 2 amazing matches at this upcoming show. The shows are always great, but these 2 first match announcements, these are just the first 2. Usually there's like 7, there's usually 7 or 8 matches on a card, so maybe there's going to be more, maybe there's less, who knows, but the point is that just these 2 alone are worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Easily.
For $10?
Oh, I paid $10 for Brandon Day and Shane Mercer alone. $10 for
15.
Yes, I'd pay $10 to watch either of these 2 matches. Storm and Shauna would be so. But who do you think's gonna win? Do you think
Shauna Reed?
Really? I'm surprised. You're kind of turning your back on your, kick door promotions.
Shauna Reed has been there for quite a while. Storm's still kind of newer at the game.
Yeah.
I think Shauna Reed still has kind of the upper hand.
The experience edge, for sure.
Yes.
Definitely has the experience edge. And she's beaten her twice. So she knows how to defeat Storm. But
if you look at the odds, I definitely think Storm's going to...
We haven't seen Storm
take it, though.
What has Storm learned since she's been gone? I mean, I'm sure she has. She hasn't just been sitting around.
Has she been in?
Storm has been...
She's been gone.
Oh, Storm has been... Listen, Storm has been wrestling in... She is a champion in other promotions.
Oh, really?
She can be a champion anywhere she goes.
Oh, she can.
Shauna's a champion everywhere she goes. Storm is a champion everywhere she goes also. So it's not, I mean, I get what you're saying. You're not being disrespectful.
She's got a tough...
It's a tough match.
She definitely could win it.
I said earlier that Lucy B. Sweet and Bashley Bones, if they fall 10 times, it would be 5 each. This match is another one that I honestly think could be 5 each. Although right now, it's 3-0 Shauna, but...
It's not too late, though.
Or 2-0. I'm sorry, did I say 3?
Yeah,
2-0. I believe it's 2-0. 2-0 Shauna. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say Shauna also, but Storm could win easily. And it would be an upset, but would it, though? Because Storm is so tough. I mean, I don't know.
think it would really be an upset.
I think it would be a shocker, but not an upset. There's a difference. It's like shocking, like, wow, Shauna lost the title, but it's to Storm, and you're like, oh, Storm's
Storm's fucking killing it. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey.
I don't know. I guess we'll see when the time comes.
We will see. It's going to be a great time.
I know that Shauna Reed's not just going to take it from her.
You mean Storm?
Or, no,
oh, you're saying Shauna. Yeah. You're right. Yo, no, that's true. You know, that's one thing that Storm can't come into this match super like emotional. She can't have it in the back of her mind that she's already lost twice.
No.
She has to kind of learn to flush that out. And Shauna's coming in, I think, already kind of just with that advantage alone. Just the mental advantage. She doesn't have to worry about this. She's lost twice. You know? She can think, oh, I beat her twice. So, yeah. I don't know. It's going to be an absolutely amazing show. Make sure you're there. August 31st in Middletown, Ohio at Slabjacks Tees. We'll have down below... as of this moment that we're filming, those are the only 2 matches that have been announced. I don't know if there's a ticket link yet, but if there is one, it'll be in the comment below. Even if once it's posted, we'll have it down below. Make sure you're there. You don't want to miss it. This is just 2 of the matches. There's a couple more, I'm sure, that are coming out soon. Very excited to find out what's on the show. Make sure you're there. Also, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Share this with your friends and family. And we only ask you to do that because it helps us in the algorithm. And we really want to try to reach as many people as possible with this. Not even just selfishly because of numbers, but I love BOTB. I want it to grow as much as possible. So let's get it shared out there. You can also follow me on Twitter at DJDub00. I tweet about wrestling and some other stuff sometimes. You can also follow us on Instagram, D_D_podcast on Instagram, and on TikTok, the WD Podcast 1.
We also have an email, WDPodcast123@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page, the WD Podcast. And if you just love me, You can also add it in the link below. My Snap, Darren 113456789.
That's right. And we also have a sponsor of this.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's Dubby.
Dubby.
It's Dubby. Now, listen, this is not a Dubby cup, but this cup does a lot of what the Dubby cups do. It's non-spill. Okay, listen, I got the top close. This top here slides open, slides off. I tried this earlier because I wanted to do this on the podcast. I was going to make sure it's on there, but it's closed. Look at this. Boom.
That shows that it puts off good product too for the Battle on the Border cups.
Battle on the Border cups are great. These are a lot like the Dubby cups, is my point.
Battle on the Border shirts are great. Great quality,
good
quality, and you can get Rick Tom's face on your freaking stomach. Wouldn't that be cool?
That's awesome. I love it. I'm gonna wear this shirt to sleep. No, I'm not. That's creepy. Don't say that. I'm going to wear this shirt.
He's gonna sleep in
much
for the rest of his life.
I'm gonna wear this shirt. I don't know if. Do you think Rick Tom's watches the podcast?
Oh yeah, sure.
Hey Rick, come on the podcast. Come on the podcast, Rick.
Oh, you got a pretty cool shirt.
I told him I was gonna wear it on here. Maybe if he sees his face, he'll be like, all right, better watch these guys' podcast.
Got my face on it.
You know what? That's a good point, though, bringing that up. At the next Battle on the Border show, and any Battle on the Border show you go to in the future, check out all the vendors that are there. There are some great sponsors. I don't know them off the top of my head. I don't want to say the wrong name or anything, but if we've stopped by some of the booths, go and check them out.
There's some hot jelly there, dudes. The hot jelly dudes there, go to him too. He's pretty, he's a pretty cool dude. He makes a pretty fucking hot jelly.
We've tried jelly with Bomani once, and we tried it with hooks. Yeah, we tried it with hooks.
For a hardcore dude, he will go pretty quick.
Well, I mean, that jelly's hot. That jelly's hot. And he was every single show he comes up to us and says, "I've made it hotter." And we're like, "Why? Why are you trying to do this?"
He's looking into hotter and hotter stuff.
I asked him this time if he was trying to. It's YouTube, so I can't say this, but if he was trying to unalive us, and he was like, "No, well, yeah, actually." He was like, "Yeah, actually, that's kind of the point of this." And I was like, "Good point." So maybe we'll do that in the future. Maybe that needs to be in our future, doing another hot jelly challenge.
Oh, 100%. We'll grab a random wrestler again if we can. Hey, come here.
Yeah. Maybe that's how we get Brandon. That's how we get Brandon Day on the. That's how we get Rick Toms on the. We get Rick Toms on the podcast.
Rick Toms ain't gonna do that.
You know, your voice is your like moneymaker. Can you ruin that by eating
eat hot stuff, burn your vocal cords? Yeah, no. I think we might be able to get Hooks to do it again, or Bomani would do it again.
Yeah, you know what, Bomani. I do believe Bomani watches.
Bomani don't back down, supposedly.
You see this guy, he's a champion. You know what? We got to get the tag champs on here because, fun fact, I know we're kind of running long here, but you have talked so much shit that when they won the titles, they came over to Darren specifically and said, "Look at this." They had the titles up and they were like, they were showing off in front of you. How does that make you feel? I mean, they came over to you and made it a point to rub it into your face because you have said multiple times in this podcast that it would never happen. And I think those were your exact words once, is that they will never be tag team champions. And now they are. I didn't even get a chance because I was so excited. I didn't even want to ruin it. How does that make you feel that they're tag team champions? That's how we'll end it. Then after this, after you answer this question, we'll be done.
You get lucky when you get lucky.
Oh my, lucky. Oh my God. It does beg the question though. Fulton was there. Would it have changed?
Probably.
You know what? That's a fair. That's a fair argument, honestly.
Not taking away from anybody, but
no, it's fair because it's not the normal tag team partner. Would that have changed? I don't know. Hey, you know what? Tag team title match, rematch in the future. Gotta have it.
Well,
Fulton wasn't there. Fulton wasn't there. Can't hold it against him.
No.
Gotta have him back.
Yeah.
So,
all right, I'm gonna give him his fair chance.
Yeah, I think that's only fair. Denim, come on, book it.
But all right.
Thanks
for watching.
See you guys.